Now to the latest on the New Orleans truck attack. A man reportedly inspired by ISIS drove a pickup truck into a crowd of New Year's revelers. The FBI now says the 42-year-old Army veteran planned and carried out the attack entirely on his own.
Yeah, this morning we are seeing dramatic new video that shows people running for cover. Look at that. Just almost hit that woman there as they ran for cover on Bourbon Street, taking aim at passengers as that person was. 14 people were killed, dozens more injured.
So now investigators are pouring through hundreds of hours of surveillance footage and more than 400 tips from the public to learn what led up to this deadly terror attack. Joining us now with more is ABC News senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katersky. Aaron, thank you for being with us this morning. I know that you've been following this since it happened. So can you walk us through the FBI's detailed timeline? I know they're pouring through hours and hours of surveillance footage and his social media background. Can you kind of tell us what they have put together so far?
So far, they've put the timeline beginning at December 30th when he rents the truck, the electric Ford F-150 vehicle, rents that in Texas, and then drives the next day from Texas to Louisiana. Now, we've spoken to neighbors who said he gave no real indication that he was going to do anything untoward with the truck, but ended up leaving. And on the way, he posted 5 videos to his Facebook account, and those videos really gave investigators a sense of what this was about, because on those videos, he talked about his divorces. He was married and divorced at least 3 times, according to records we've seen. He was struggling with child support payments to 2 different women. He thought about killing his own family, but decided that that wouldn't send the kind of political message that he apparently wanted to send. That's when he decided to focus on Bourbon Street.
And using the vehicle rammings as a way of doing it, affecting these soft targets, going after soft targets. How big of a concern is this? We know that there was an internal memo sent out to agencies all over the country. How much of a concern are vehicle rammings, and will we see changes on city streets, or especially around major events?
And there are 2 of them coming up in New Orleans, right? The Super Bowl next month, Mardi Gras. Those are 2 of the biggest events on the country's winter calendar. I think those will be exceptionally buttoned up. They do not want to have a repeat. And while there is no specific evidence of a plot in the works anywhere, I think law enforcement, the FBI, the Department of Homeland Security are concerned. They want police agencies to be aware of these things, as the New Orleans Police Department was. We've had a look at reports going back to 2017 that said there could be an attack on Bourbon Street, and the bollards needed to be in place, and they weren't.
Okay, so let's talk about motivation, because I know that, the FBI has said it sounds like this is a lone wolf situation, but talk about where ISIS fits into this.
They've been for years calling on followers to attack in the West. And right around New Year's, there were 3 different things that occurred almost simultaneously within hours of each other. An attack in New Zealand, where a driver ended up striking police officers in Wellington, and the authorities are looking to see whether the suspect in New Orleans may have seen that and may have acted out because of it. And then, of course, what happened in Las Vegas. A little bit different, it turns out. That looks more like an elaborate public suicide, but the investigators are still looking for any possible connections.
So immediately after this happened, then we started hearing reports about explosive devices found in coolers around Louisiana, or around specifically Bourbon Street, I believe. What was their potential threat to the public?
There were 2 viable devices that were found. These were described to us as homemade pipe bombs, crudely made, but could have been quite deadly. They were packed with coils and nails and then concealed in these little coolers, placed within 2 blocks of one another on Bourbon Street. At first, there was suspicion there may have been some help in planting those things. But as investigators studied the video, they saw the suspect, Shamsuddin Jabbar, planting the devices where they were found. And so that's how they're confident that he acted alone.
It was something that he could have triggered, do they know at this point?
He had a remote detonating device, so he apparently could have triggered. I mean, they don't know what the full plan was. He's dead. But if you look at how the attack unfolded, first with the vehicle ramming, then the gunfire, and then the explosives, had he survived, investigators are guessing, but they think it's possible he may have intended to hit people with the truck,
Yeah.
fire on responding officers, and then set off the devices as ambulances responded
Got it.
Wow.
to tend to the victim.
Incredible how surveillance has really been able to paint this
It
picture.
is
of
key
what
to
happened.
the investigation for
Yeah.
sure.
Aaron, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
We always appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
All right, stay with Eyewitness News, of course, and ABC News as we continue to follow the investigation into this deadly truck attack. And as we get more information, we'll bring it to you on air and, of course, online at ABC7NY.